I'm Brandon.
I'm Alyssa.
And we started the Center for the Conscious Family. We started it for families who are going through big transitions. An example would be the sale of a business. Can't think of a bigger transition for a family to go through.
Well, maybe planning an inheritance.
That's a big one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much is enough is something that families and individuals always struggle with, but then even more so, like, how much is enough for my kids? Mm-hmm. How much is too much for my kids?
Right, and do you want to give it to them while you're still here?
Sometimes we see estranged family members. Somebody in the family just doesn't feel comfortable talking to the rest of the family. It's quite normal in the sense that it's common.
And so many reasons why. We see so many reasons why that can happen. Another big reason that can bring families to the center that we see is that there's a sense of lacking, and we also see that that's tied to a lack of clarity. Mm-hmm. The sense of lacking can come from, I have all of this, but what does it mean? Or I have all of this, but it still seems like there could be something more.
What is our purpose individually, and how do I help people in my family live out their highest purpose? Mm-hmm. And then, like, what's our purpose as a unit, as a family? We have consolidated the framework for a family, and other people call it a family governance plan or a family constitution or a family financial plan, estate plan, tax plan. We call it the one statement because it's informed by all of that, and it informs all of those other types of plans, but it's in one document.
To have this foundation on a statement that you can take into decisions along the way.
Sure.
And there are other decisions to be made after meeting with us.
Yeah, our family wants to buy a business. What does the one statement say?
Exactly. Somebody
in our family wants to go to grad school. What is who's paying for it? What does the statement say?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Through the conversations, that's what we are there for, to facilitate.
Yeah.
And we're modeling that, and that's something that you can take with you when you leave.
Figuring out as a family, how do we make these decisions? How do we have these types of conversations when something comes up? You know, because you don't want to be talking, oh God, what was it, like The Sopranos, I think I saw, where like somebody brought up money at the dinner table, and they're like, this is the dinner table. Like, when do we bring up these topics?
Exactly. And how?
Yes.
And how do we make sure those whose voices want to be heard are heard and held into consideration for that clarity and cohesiveness that we strive for?
That's what our process does, is allow people to be heard. Being heard reminds me of like how you and I met. We met at the Gestalt Institute of Cleveland.
We did. And Gestalt, like, what in the world is that?
Yeah, right? We didn't know.
No.
We went into like this blind to this 2-year facilitation, continuing education. I came in as an investment manager wondering, how am I going to work this type of facilitation into the investment side?
And I came in as a psychotherapist, wondering why a wealth manager was there. And turns out of a huge group, there were only 2 therapists. So this was really an enrichment about how to facilitate communication.
Yeah, and what we've built together is not therapy.
It's not therapy.
It's not therapy.
It's not therapy.
We promise.
No, we promise.
Yeah. And I bring in the financial side. I bring in the understanding of what money can and can't do, and what the state laws can and can't do. We integrate that into the plan, but it isn't financial planning what we're doing.
It is not financial planning, and it's not therapy. But what I bring into it are the kind of the softer people skills. Not that Brandon doesn't have those.
That's the punchline we're missing. You put a financial advisor or a wealth manager. The punchline is you put a wealth manager and a therapist in a room, and what do you get?
You get a one statement that makes financial sense, and everybody feels seen and heard in the family.
But that's just not funny.
What is it?
I'm just teasing you. That's great. There's an old adage, short sleeves to short sleeves in 3 generations, which means that after 3 generations, wealth is created and destroyed, or created and disappears.
Okay.
But I think what's even more unfortunate is 2 things. All of the other parts of society that are negatively impacted as a family unravels, and all of the opportunity cost, all of the positive benefits of a highly functioning, financially wealthy family can have on society. All too often I've seen the best analytical plans made out in brains, thought about taxes, thought about all this stuff, but didn't include the human element. And they fail. And it breaks my heart. It sucks.
in that you believe that what prevents that is bringing a level of consciousness in.
Yeah, and consciousness is a big word, but you're right. It's communication. Like it all starts there. Like I think that's an entry point. Is like families should stop talking to one another.
Yeah.
Like, families can stop talking to one another, and if they're talking, maybe they're not talking about what matters. So if you think you and your family are a good candidate for the center, please contact us. And in the meantime, there are loads of resources on our website, Conscious Wealth Living, and check that out too, and that'll get you started. Anything else to say to the kind people at home?
If you have any questions, just contact us.
If you have any questions, just contact us.
So, Brandon, why are we doing this?
Why are we doing this? That's a good question. So let's talk about how this works.
Okay. How's it work?
Well, somebody comes to us.
If you have any questions, just contact us.
You can pick
But
your
you can't
nose,
pick your family.
but you can't pick your family. That's what they used to say.
So why are we doing this? Hold on.
Touche.
Touche.